There aren't too many dedicated off-road racing games around these days, which is a shame as it's a subgenre I've always really enjoyed, and is why I enjoy rally games so much. I grew up spoiled with a number of off-road game series, such as Motorstorm, Pure and MX vs ATV, so when I was offered the chance to take a look at a new off-road racing game called Overpass 2, I was excited to give it a try. Since I tend to enjoy most driving games, especially ones where the driving primarily takes place on dirt or gravel surfaces, I thought it might be fun to go in with an open mind and see what it's all about. The first Overpass game was released in 2020 and was more focused on the slower paced style of gameplay. In this second iteration, they have added additional events and have actually used an entirely new game engine. Overpass 2 has already launched in Europe, but the rest of the world will be able to play it as of 16th of October. It's available on PC, PS5 and Xbox Series S or X. In this video, I'll be giving a brief overview of what the game has to offer, and I'll reveal the things I like about it, but will also provide some honest, constructive feedback on a couple of areas that could potentially be improved. So sit back, relax, maybe grab a beverage of your choosing, and let's take a quick look at Overpass 2. Now, there were a couple of other reasons why I was keen to take a look at this game. Firstly, if you're a fan of rally games like me, you might recognise the publisher, Nacon. For those who don't know, they were also the publisher of the recent WRC games before EA and Codemasters acquired the WRC license. I had a pretty good time with these games, and they were actually some of the first videos that I posted on this channel. The other interesting thing about this game is that it's been built using Unreal Engine 5, which is still relatively new, and we haven't seen too many games utilising it so far. Maybe it's just me being a nerd, but I was excited to see how it looked in action. And spoilers, it looks pretty incredible. In total, this game has 5 different styles of driving events, with a blend of both fast-paced racing as well as slower, more strategic rock crawling. The 5 different game modes are Off-Road Sprint, Off-Road Circuit, Hill Climb, Obstacle Course and Closed Circuit Racing. These events take place across a total of 31 tracks at launch in various locations including deserts, forests and mountains. The game also has 30 fully licensed vehicles with a mix of quad bikes, buggies and rock bouncers from manufacturers such as Suzuki, Yamaha, Kawasaki and Arctic Cat. Alongside this, there is also fully licensed clothing, helmets, gloves and boots for customising your driver, which is pretty cool. On the topic of customisation, the vehicles are also fully customisable, allowing you to change the tyres, suspension, liveries, paint jobs and other parts. The tyres and suspension that you choose will also have a significant impact on the handling of the vehicles, so need to be chosen strategically before a new event. The game is fully playable on either a controller, a keyboard and mouse, or a wheel and pedals. I tried it using all 3 methods, but I tended to stick with the wheel and pedals for the most authentic driving experience. One thing I did find though was that there didn't seem to be in-game options for adjusting force feedback on the wheel, which was a bit odd. It didn't really matter too much though, as the default force feedback settings were strong and provided good information as to the terrain that I was driving across. But it would be good to have the wheel settings fully adjustable from the game menus. The gamepad settings were much more comprehensive, so there was no issues there. My Thrustmaster wheel, pedals and handbrake were fully functional other than that. I've spent some time playing through the career mode and there seems to be a fair amount of depth to it. You build and manage a team of staff to assist you with vehicle maintenance, upgrades, research and providing critical information for upcoming events. Something I also quite liked was that vehicle damage carries over from previous events, which encourages you to take greater care when driving and to think about keeping some money back for vehicle repairs in between events. The goal of the career is to get promoted up the divisions by acquiring as many points and trophies from events as possible over the course of the season. It's quite similar in some ways to the previous WRC games career mode, so people who have played these games will probably notice the common themes. From what I've seen so far, there should be more than enough in the career to keep people entertained for a good number of hours. You can also just play single custom events, 8-player online multiplayer, or something that I really like, local split screen for up to 4 players. More games need to bring this back, especially for these types of games, so big respect to the team for including this. But all that said, the main question is, how does this game feel to play, and more importantly, is it fun? The short answer for me anyway here is yes. I actually did have a lot of fun playing this game once I started to get a feel for it. The vehicles all felt distinct in terms of handling, and even for example the different quad bikes felt unique from each other. Some felt agile and torquey, whereas others felt much heavier but had an overall better top speed. The different events all offer a unique challenge and I enjoyed going between them. I'd probably say that the obstacle course challenges or quad bike races were my personal favourites. Rock bouncing challenges were fun too, but maybe just a bit on the short side. I would however say though, at times the vehicle physics felt a little inconsistent and vehicles didn't always absorb the bumps in the road or different obstacles quite as you'd expect, sending you barreling into a tree or into an unsuspecting member of the crowd. Sometimes the suspension can feel a bit too stiff and the vehicles could maybe benefit from feeling a bit weightier when navigating obstacles. I did however find that by changing the suspension to the softer variants, this became less of an issue. It's also really important to ensure that you select the correct drivetrain for each surface or obstacle using the quick select function at the bottom right of the screen. Rear wheel drive gives you the best straight line speed, but four wheel drive and open differential are essential for navigating rock faces and other challenging obstacles. And one thing that I really do need to mention is how good this game can look, as you can hopefully see from the gameplay footage here. There are honestly times when the graphics and the level of environmental detail are incredible. The weather and particle effects are also very impressive. The performance I got was also solid. I by no means have a NASA PC and I was able to max out all graphics to ultra and 1440p with ray tracing turned on, and the gameplay was still smooth with no notable frame rate dips. This is also really reassuring for any upcoming games that will be using Unreal Engine 5. For the most part, the sound is okay. I do sometimes find that the repetitive noise vehicles make when they hit the rev limiter is a bit distracting though. Maybe this could be looked into. Some of the vehicle engines could maybe also do with just sounding a bit beefier or more aggressive in my personal opinion. One last minor gripe I had was with the AI during some race events. Their driving at times could be erratic to say the least. Although I will say, it did sometimes make the races extremely entertaining, and watching them yeet themselves off their quad bikes or off cliffs never failed to make me laugh. The ragdoll physics in this game are actually pretty decent as well, and highly amusing. Overall, I've enjoyed my time so far with Overpass 2. It's a refreshing change of pace for when you just want to play something a bit more light-hearted and casual, although it can still be challenging if you up the difficulty and damage settings. It's definitely the type of chilled game where you can just switch off for a few hours, with a cup of coffee or a couple of cold ones. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it isn't trying too hard to be any other game so far as I can tell. No game is perfect, and this one has its quirks too, but it was good fun and the hours flew by once I started playing. I also found it pretty addictive to go back and try and beat my previously set times in the various challenges. It would be even more fun to try and beat times set by friends either online or in local split screen. To summarise, I would recommend this game to avid fans of off-road motorsports or people just looking for a more accessible laid-back driving experience. Feel free to ask me any questions about this game or let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, I hope you have a great day. Special thanks also to Nacon, Neopika and Forsake for giving me the opportunity to play this game.